Silentheart was never the meta, because this is the ultimate M1 PvE build, capable of soloing the Diluvian and dealing absolutely insane raw damage in each M1. On top of that, it manages to stack a lot of damage reduction at the same time, while getting really strong damage talents and mantras, such as Flame Within and Shade Devour, which can allow me to stack 50% bonus damage as soon as I activate them. It also has Dawnwalker for massive AoE damage, all of this combining together to make one insane M1 PvE build. In this video, I will be discussing the stat order, talents, and the synergies between them, as well as how to use the build to its fullest potential. So make sure to like and subscribe, and join the Discord for the build maker link. So let's get into it. Going over the stat order for the build, you can use any race, but Vesperian is obviously the best. Your oath will end up being Dawnwalker. You want this for the mantra slots, as well as Blinding Dawn, which is super good for AoE. Origin is Deep Bound like always, you kind of need it. Outfit is Ignition Deep Delver for the resistances, and Bell you can either go with a Corrupt Payback or a Corrupted Sacred Field, whatever you prefer to use. Now you want to start with 10 Flame Charm on the starting screen and nothing else. Immediately in game, you want to invest all the way to 20 willpower, then jump to 50 fortitude and then 50 willpower. This is just the pretty standard order that you'll go for Brick Wall in this build. However, now you'll end up going all the way to 40 Flame Charm for some very useful Flame Charm talents. Then you'll just go back to do 80 willpower, getting Heretic Suture requirements, then 90 fortitude. This will give you reinforced armor requirements. Then you'll jump to 90 fortitude in order to get reinforced armor on the build. Then jump to 80 willpower to get you the Heretic Suture requirements. Finally, you go 100 fortitude and then 100 willpower. This will give you the stats you need for Brick Wall, so make sure you use Mystic in order to guarantee it. From here, you just invest 1 point to Strength, Charisma, Heavy Weapon, and then unlock Shadowcast in the depths. Once your stat points look like this, you're ready to Shrine of Order. Post Shrine, it's pretty simple. You just go to 30 Strength, 25 Charisma, 20 Shadowcast. Then I recommend that you go 20 Flame Charm just to get an extra level on your Flame Sentinel. Then you can put the rest into your Heavy Weapon, which should result in anywhere from 86 to 88, depending on if you took the extra level in Flame Sentinel or not. For your traits, you want to go 6 Proficiency and 6 Vitality. M1's your main source of damage, so you want to max that out. Next, we'll come over to the mantras. You're going to start by putting Flame Sentinel on this build. I'll explain it a little later, but this is just really good passive damage. Burning Servants is a really quick mantra. Then you'll have Blinding Dawn for AoE and Radiant Dawn for a guard break. Flame Leap with a Reversal Spark is the best mobility mantra you can use, just because it lets you cancel full damage and fall to the ground really quick. Then you'll grab Taunt. This is just for extra damage, as well as Shade Devour. When you pop this, you get 20% more damage on your M1s. Then you'll fill up your Wisp slot with Flame Wisp. This will just half the damage you take with Flame Within active. It's really good. For your final mantra slot, that I recommend taking something like Exhaustion Strike, as it's a really fast mantra that does high damage. And then finally, you'll grab Reinforced for damage reduction on the build. A very useful card to pick up because it'll save you in tight situations. Let's go over to the talents. We have 60 talents we can pick from. You'll get Reinforced Armor to reduce the pen. Brick Wall, that's an obvious card to pick. It makes the build so much more consistent. Wyvern's Claws, more damage. Defiance, while bugged at the moment, will likely be fixed soon. Champion's Regalia is free posture damage to enemies. Fishman, Exoskeleton, and To the Finish are good defensive talents. Get Lose Your Mind and Piercing Will. This lets Heretic Sutra make you deal a ton more damage. Thresher Claws is free pen. Blood Iron Spirit and Scuba Drowner are a combined 10 HP for free. Flame Within is 10% damage on the build, gives you extra speed, and procs Charge Return. It's a super good card. Get Giant Slayer, that's 10% more damage to monsters for free. Underdog, even more damage, as well as Tough Love. Combined with Charismatic cast, it can also provide damage reduction on whatever you hit with your mantras. Heavy hitters good for dealing with squibos if your crit is on cooldown. You'll get charged return for even more M1 damage. Cauterized wounds to reduce blood loss, you might as well take this card. Immolation to reduce the self damage from Flame Within even more. Then you'll get Old Habits Die Hard and breathing exercises with some free HP, as well as Last Resort, which the window for proccing Last Resort has been increased, I believe, so it's a very good card to take. Uproar just prevents you from being stunned, it's very nice. You'll get Armor Conserver, Berserker for a lot of damage reduction, Full Reset, which is very good with counter. Then you'll grab Ready or Not and Replenishing Knockout. This will essentially heal you and let you take half damage from the first attack on a new monster in Hell mode. Ardor Scream is 25% more damage. Steel Scales and Padded Armor is even more damage reduction. Pocket Bombs is a free 5 HP. Turtle Shell and Knight's Rally is even more damage reduction, as well as Unfazed that lets Heretic Sutra operate correctly. Then you'll grab your Warrior's Swing to reduce incoming damage if you have Hyper Armor, and then cap it off with Flaming Flourish. There is a lot of spare cards in this build, as you can tell. It's really up to you on what you want to take, but the very good thing about this build is it's really hard to fail just because of how much spare stuff you have. I realized I forgot Grand Feast as well, so make sure you grab that, leaving us with 50 talents. The last 10 can just be a combination of whatever you like, but I'll probably fill out the rest of the talents before putting the link on my Discord. With that out of the way, I'm just going to add the Oath and Quest talents to the build. Make sure that before you Shrine of Order, you get Heretic Sutra. As long as you've been insane at one point in your life, it's very easy to get. Just go to Deepwoken for 10 minutes, and it'll provide you with Lose Your Mind and Piercing Will at all times. If not though, you can use an Insanity Downside Bell to quickly gain Insanity. For your weapon, you have a few choices. You can have an Evan Spear with Astral. This is just universally good damage, and the crit cooldown is pretty low. Enforcer's Axe has slightly less raw M1 damage because we don't have a Speed Demon, but the crit is far easier to land. And Pale has the best crit of any weapon. However, I don't believe the crit affects squibos, so you gotta watch out for that. That is, unless you're in the Diluvian, where the crit works perfectly fine. Looking at the summary, we get 152 HP on this build, as well as a lot of other very useful stats. So yeah, the Seraph Soul build is incredibly powerful. If you want to see the max damage with this build, using Grim as a substitute for the Astral buff, so this number's accurate, you can get all the way up to about 60% DVM on a good kit. Then once you equip your rings, you'll end up with this much damage. You can multiply this damage by 1.25 for Auto Scream, which will give you some absolutely ludicrous amounts of damage on this build, which is just how strong it is. But let's get into the absolutely insane amount of talent synergies the build can get to. Starting off with the biggest synergy of the build, Hungry Flames and Auto Scream. This is probably one of the biggest synergies in the game. If you don't know what Hungry Flames does, it allows you to cast flame mantras for free when you have no ether, at the cost of draining your hunger and thirst. However, in PvE, this isn't an issue, since Carnivore can instantly replenish it. And Auto Scream provides you an AoE 25% damage buff, which is absolutely insane. Something very useful to cast after you Auto Scream is Flame Sentinel, because Flame Sentinel just kinda hovers around the place and will automatically attack enemies for you, even if you're being stunned. The next major combo is Shade Devour and Flame Within, combined with Flame Wisp as well. These two provide you 50% extra damage because they also proc Charge Return. What Flame Wisp does is the drain that Flame Within provides you is first halved by Immolation, and then halved again by the Wisp. So you're essentially only taking 1% HP every few seconds, and in exchange, you're gaining 25% damage, which is a really good trade-off. Then you have the other really strong mantras on the build, like Radiant Dawn, that has the property of not being able to be cancelled. Therefore, you could ignore many waves of the Diluvian with multiple electric-attuned enemies, and if you ever need to cancel full damage, using a Reversal Spark Flame Leap can allow you to take no fall damage from any height. Plus, it also allows you to quick fall, so if you get hit up high with a Thresher Burrow, you can quickly get back to the ground and into the fight. In order to master the build properly, You just need to make sure that you're analyzing the monsters around you. Whenever you need to keep your distance, you can use Blinding Dawn, which will charm all the enemies, thus making you take less damage from them, and then you go in for the kill once any problem targets are out of the way. And that is how you use the Seraph Soul PvE build. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and join the Discord for the build maker link. As always, make sure to check out some more PvE content, and I'll see you all next time.